Open it now. Remember, this is still the cornea in front. The white is the sclera. The red here that goes, not that red, sorry. Let's open it out. The dark red that goes around behind the sclera would be the choroid. This dark red that goes behind the sclera would be the choroid. And if we use this model, again, the transparent part is the cornea, this is the sclera, and this red represents the choroid. That's the choroid. The dark red, which sits underneath the sclera, would be the choroid. Now, the lighter red out here is a ciliary body, and outside of the ciliary body would be the ciliary muscle. So you notice it's lighter red.
Turn it a little bit.
The darker red is the choroid. Here is the ciliary body. It's a little bit serrated. Outside of it is the ciliary muscle. So again, you have the ciliary, let's back up. The ciliary body includes the ciliary muscle and the ciliary process, the serrated part. So if I touch here, go across with the paper, it's the ciliary body. The ciliary body includes the ciliary muscle and the ciliary process. Now, moving along. The pupil. The pupil is right here, in that hole. That's the pupil. If we take this, that hole represents the pupil. And now we go to the retina. So we have already defined that this is the sclera. The dark red is the choroid. The yellow inside here is the retina. And now we go to, I'm going to skip around, I'm going to leave the macula lutea and the fovea centralis, and we'll go back to that. So the optic disc, not seen very well on here. This is the optic nerve, by the way, and in front of the optic nerve will be the optic disc. So I have to show you one. You need to come up front. Best one that define the items. So I've opened it. I mean, the white again is the sclera. This is the choroid. The dark red is the choroid. The lighter over here together with the ciliary body. The ciliary body include the ciliary process plus the ciliary muscle. Now, this shows now the optic disc. This is the optic nerve. This is the same optic nerve. This is the best model that shows that white spot right there. That's called the optic disc. It lies in front of the optic nerve. And where is Kyle? Here is the optic disc. Miss Loy, you need to come around here and see. Here is the optic disc in white that lies in front of the optic nerve. The optic disc is also known as what? As the blind spot, as your blind spot. So here's the optic disc. The white spot right here lies in front of the optic nerve. Here's the optic disc. That's the optic disc right here, the white spot lies in front of the optic nerve. So moving along, this is the lens, that's the lens. In this model, this would be what? The lens, that's the lens. This is the lens by itself. Now, again, it fell out. Okay, so now, here it is, lens by itself. Now we're looking for the suspensory ligaments that holds up the lens. And so here, not shown very well there, but this is the ciliary process. So in this model, here are some white fibers, and if we put the lens in place, smaller one, it suspends the lens. And so this white fiber represents the suspensory ligament. It holds the lens in place. That's a suspensory ligament. Now, aqueous humor you can't see. It's the fluid that is in front of the lens. So if the lens is placed here, there is fluid in front of it, and that's called the aqueous humor. Aqueous means watery. So watery humor.
Could you show me the suspensory ligaments again?
This one shows it, the white fibers. The white fibers are the suspensory ligaments. Now, for example, in a patient that has glaucoma, they have too much fluid in front of the lens, and they have to use a laser to pop it and drain the fluid out. Now, behind the lens, if we put back in place the lens, then you would have the aqueous humor in front, and behind it, this represents now the vitreous humor, this ball. So this is a thick jelly-like substance that is found right here. Very thick and jelly-like. So this represents the vitreous humor. And now the optic chiasm, as I said before, you can't see it on the model. On the sheath frame, where the optic nerve crosses, right in the middle, is the optic chiasm. Got it? We'll show it today. Where it crosses, the two nerves crosses, two optic nerves cross, that's the optic chiasm. The extrinsic eye muscle, all of these, and they have names, but we're not going to worry about the names, just as a group. XX means outside. The extrinsic eye muscle. Extrinsic eye muscle. Not going to worry about the individual names. And so let's repeat the items for the eye again, for the eyeball. So again, to repeat, here's the lacrimal gland. The white represents the sclera. The dark red represents the choroid. If I'm using this, this would be the choroid, and this would be the inside of the choroid. What would this be? The retina. That's the retina. Difference in color, but location. Sclera, choroid, retina. And now, moving along, all of this represents the ciliary body that has a ciliary muscle, and this, by the way, is the ciliary process, that feather-like structure. That's the ciliary process in there. In this one, the suspensory ligaments lie on top of the ciliary process, the finger-like thing, ciliary process. Again, ciliary process, looks like feather, ciliary process. And so now the optic disc, this one shows it very nicely, lies in front of the optic nerve. Suspensory ligaments I already showed you, aqueous humor. This is the vitreous humor, extrinsic eye muscle, and optic chiasm is in the brain. So now we go to the last two. The macula lutea and the fovea centralis got to be tested. The macula lutea and the fovea centralis. So your images, everything that you see is focused in one point, and that's focused on the fovea centralis. So I'm going to go around it. Here's a nice little yellow spot, white but it turns yellow now. That's the fovea centralis, little pin-like head, fovea centralis. And around it is a darker shade area, and that would be the macula lutea. So the fovea centralis is in the dead center of the macula lutea. Here's the fovea centralis, the little spot, whitish in color, and around it would be the macula lutea. So that one shows it very nicely. This over here shows where you have the macula lutea, and 18 in the middle would represent your fovea centralis. So the yellow spot represents the macula lutea. Right in the middle of that would be your fovea centralis. So we have to look for the best one that shows it. Again, here is one. Fovea centralis. Around it is the macula lutea. So if I'm asking you for the fovea centralis, this is just showing you again the position of the macula lutea. I would have to find one that has the white spot in the middle, and I stick a pin in the middle. I'm asking you for the fovea centralis. Make sure that you understand. Fovea centralis, that would be on the test.